All right, everyone. I am so excited to introduce my next guest, founding member of Tony Orlando and Dawn, star of Bosom Buddies. Give me a break. Are we there yet? Family Matters and a million other credits. Also, the host of the brand new Family Matters Rewatch pod. Welcome to the family with Telma and Kelly. You can listen to that on iHeartRadio, but right now you're going to listen to us as I introduce my amazing, legendary guest, Telma Hopkins. Hey.
Hey, everybody. Hey, home folk.
Yeah, look at that.
Since you're back in Michigan and that's my stomping grounds, Detroit, Highland Park, that's me.
I'm always so excited and there's so many people that are from Michigan. So
They really are more than even I was aware of.
Yeah, if you Google it, you're like, oh my gosh.
I know.
Right at the top of that list, Telma Hopkins.
Whoop, whoop.
Your background with Detroit, singing Motown.
Yeah.
This is pre-Tony Orlando.
Much pre, yes.
Yeah. What's that origin story? Like, what did you move here when you're 14, right?
Oh no, I've lived in Michigan since I was 5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
I lived in Detroit and then I moved to Highland Park. So I grew up in Highland Park. My childhood was basically spent in Detroit.
Awesome. Even better.
Yeah.
Even better.
So, and there was nothing else to do except make cars or sing. So I decided I wanted to make cars. I wanted to sing so I could have my own car is what it was.
Yeah, I was going to sing and they said, you're going to have to make cars.
Yeah, well, everybody else was.
So, all right. So you were even pre-Motown, like you were at a different place before. You were at a place that Motown I was bought up, Golden World Records.
A studio called Golden World, yeah. And Ed Wingate was the owner.
So from 5 years old, or what age were you singing?
I think we started really trying at around 14, because, they always had the Motown auditions and they'd had the Motown show. So, of course, every kid wanted to be a part of that. There were 3 of us. We got another girl. Everybody wanted to be in a group. So we were the Desirees. I don't know where we came up with that name. I can't remember. But it seemed like everybody, I was laughing because when I met Joyce, her group was called the Debonaires. So I guess the D was big back then. But yeah, we went on our first audition was at Motown, and we were all still in school, of course. We did pretty good, but they were like, no, we're not taking any school kids unless they're named Stevie Wonder, But there was a receptionist there who told us about Golden World, and she said, maybe you should try there because it's a fairly new studio, and she knew that they were, signing people up. So we ended up getting an audition that day. We were actually pulled into the company. We were signed on.
That's amazing. So
yeah, that was Don Davis. Yeah, was my manager at that time.
So you're fancy. You got manager and everything.
Oh, no, he was our manager. I mean, he became our manager because we were at Golden World.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, but still.
Yeah. I didn't even know what a manager did at that point, honestly.
All right. So you're singing background. And then this company gets bought by Motown, right?
Yeah, that was later on. Yes.
Okay. So you're on like all these. Do you have copies of all the vinyl that you're on?
Not all of it, but quite a bit of it. I mean, like Parliament, Band of Gold, of course, because that was the mantra. But the Holidays and Rare Earth and all those type people, I have those around somewhere, I'm sure. But I do have, we did a lot of stuff with George Clinton and Parliament. So I have all that stuff.
Wow. I mean, at Motown, you sang with like Marvin Gaye. I mean, like, like all of the.
My
pinch me moments, right?
My first session was with the Four Tops, and the song was "Reach Out, I'll Be There." So that was my first Motown song that I sang on.
Oh, and then I heard that one.
Yeah, I heard it. And then I did Bernadette and Standing in the Shadows of Love. And then with Marvin, I did Heard It Through the Grapevine, That's the Way Love Is, and one other song I can never remember what it is. I was recruited by one of the girls who sang background with the Andantes at Motown. She was like a substitute singer when someone was sick. She would fill in. And this particular time that they needed someone, she was sick. And so she sent me. And I mean, I was in like box pleat skirt with, knee socks and penny loafers and the whole bit. So I walked in there looking like exactly what I was, a schoolgirl. But I pulled it off. And Jackie Hicks, who was the one who sort of mentored me at Motown, just kept me coming.
It's amazing. The Andantes are amazing as well.
Yeah, they are amazing. I got to see Jackie when I was there in Michigan, which was really a treat for me because I had not seen her literally in, I guess, 20, 25 years.
They're like where the Funk Brothers were like the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jack Ashford and the Funk Brothers. I remember that, Lord. He was someone else I got a chance to work with a lot.
Yeah, it's just amazing. The Dantes, I mean, I estimated, I mean, the number of background recordings.
Oh my gosh. They are Motown. They're the Motown sound, a definite part of that.
It's absolutely incredible. So, all right. So you got recruited by them. So these are big shots. You're hanging out. So you're hanging out with Stevie Wonder and Barry Gordy. And
well, I'm not going to say I was hanging out. I did get to go to a Motown picnic, and I did wear my Diana Ross wig thinking I was, all that. But no, I didn't get to hang out like that.
Well, I mean, like, at the candy machine or whatever.
Yeah, I was in the company. I was in the company of.
You're walking down the hall. Hitsville, USA is the coolest place. Like,
it's amazing. I got a chance to go back there, and it was very emotional for me to go back and see the studio and to walk downstairs into the basement where, I mean, that was my teen years, and I actually kind of teared up when I got there. It was more emotional for me than I thought it would be. And then Jackie walked out, which that was the end for me. Because I did not expect to see her. That was a surprise that they had fashioned for me, and it was wonderful.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The museum where you can go down into that area where you guys recorded all that. It's like one of those interesting places where you can feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel that magic happened here. It's
absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the things I loved when I saw Standing in the Shadows of Motown. In fact, when they had a premiere out in Los Angeles for it. And at the time I was doing half and half. And Yvette Lee Bowser was our executive producer, and her husband was going to this event, and he asked if I wanted to go. Well, I didn't really want to because I was working that day and I didn't want to have to, go home, get dressed and come back and do all that. But I ended up doing it, not knowing that the Funk Brothers were going to actually be there. I actually walked right past them and didn't even know it. Walked past Jack and Bob Babbitt, Joe Hunter, all of them were there. And when I tell you, I had no idea what I was walking into. When I saw that documentary, I was bawling by the end of it. I was just bawling because it was so much of home for me. And then when I found out that Jack and everybody was there, it was amazing. It was amazing.
That sounds unbelievable. Is Mickey Stevenson?
Yeah.
I had him on my podcast. I talked to him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You talk about legacy.
Yeah.
That's legacy right there.
Somebody says, hey, we'd like to have Mickey Stevenson on. And I'm like, okay, great. It was like a PR. And then I started looking, I'm like, you buried the lead here. This guy's the A&R man for Barry Gordy at Motown. What are you doing? So I found out he had a book. So I read it real fast. And it's like, oh my God. I mean,
yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Yeah. The whole Motown thing. It's great to be from Michigan and Detroit.
Oh my gosh. I would not trade it for anything. I would not trade it. It was just a great place to grow up, a great time to grow up, and just so many great experiences, especially if you wanted to sing or create or anything like that. It was really amazing.
So amazing. So the important question, Faygo or Vernors?
Faygo.
Faygo.
Well, I like Vernors too. I did tour Vernors. That was part of your mandatory school touring when you went to school in Detroit. So, but I got to say, Red Pop is my absolute favorite. They have it out in Los Angeles.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, we located it, honey. We hunted that down. My son knows exactly where to go to get it.
That is amazing. And then to be able to get a good Vernors, a good ginger ale.
Yeah, they have Vernors out here though, so we can get that too. Yeah.
Okay, good. It's because I know people would move and they would ship it or bring it with
It's definitely different ginger ale than most ginger ales. It's hard to describe what the difference is, but there's a definite taste difference with Vernors.
I saw a documentary on it. I guess the guy makes it, right? Never got it right. Goes to the Civil War, gets drafted, comes back 4 years later, Vernors.
Wow. I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
Well, hopefully it's true because I just
because you just put it on the air.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a documentary because you're right. I mean, that's, Detroit's got all those things, we have a lot of cool things.
Yeah.
All right. So how did the whole Motown and all the great stuff, when did you become Tony Orlando and Dawn?
Actually, when Holland, Dozier and Holland left Motown and formed Invictus Records, my the Desirees became their background singers. So that was the start of it. And in doing that and working with them, they would bring in was a gentleman by the name of Tony Camillo and April Blackwood. So Tony was looking for a sound, looking for some girls, and Tony Camillo told him about us, off and on with Isaac Hayes with his girls. And we were coming into New York to the Apollo. So when Tony called, I said, well, I won't be with my girls, but I'm coming in. If you want to use this, we can do it for you. I went in with the girls that I worked with Isaac Hayes, and we did, I think, one of Barry Manilow's first records. It was called Run, Rosie, Run by the River. I said, what kind of title is that? But that was our first session with Tony, and that's when I met him, and that's when he approached me about becoming a part of the group and all of that.
I was going to ask you, I was watching an old video, and he didn't have the mustache, which I found jarring.
Yeah, even now I find that jarring. Just seeing a picture of it, it scares me. He was such a pudge face too back then, that little round head and everything. Well, that was right after he had slimmed down, so I guess he hadn't grown out the mustache yet.
I know you're kind of a backup singer, but I mean, but now it's you're kind of like, but it's still, you're part of the thing. You're like, everyone knows.
Yeah.
You're not backing up to Four Tops and everyone's like Four Tops. It's like,
right.
You're Dawn. And like,
right.
And now you're huge. I mean, if this had been the only thing you did, right? I mean, it would be like, I mean, like, right. I mean, like, it's that big. I mean, it's like, I mean, you did a million other things after it. I'm just saying, like,
right. Yeah. I've been very blessed with my career. I really have.
So what was it like just being a recording phenomenon? I mean, like, #1 hits, and then you get your own TV show. I mean, it's like, you're a big deal.
Yeah, I think, I thought it was a big deal. It was a big deal to be working with Isaac Hayes, but the show, I don't think it really hit Joyce and I how big we had become until maybe a year into the TV show. I'll give you an example. We had worked at the New York State Fair as one of their acts, and there may have been 300 people. Now, New York State Fair is humongous, so 300 people were like having 3 people there. And then after the show had aired, the first season, we went back to the New York State Fair, and there were 30,000 people there, and we were wondering who they were there to see. I mean, we really did not know that they were there for it. We kept saying, well, who's on the show? They said, nobody, it's you. And we were like, no, it couldn't be us. Who else is here? I mean, we just did not get it. And that was the visual that showed us what power of television. It scared us to death. Joyce and I were practically standing on the tippy toes of the band. We were so afraid because there were so many people, and they were surging the stage, and there were security. I mean, all this stuff that we had never experienced. I did experience it with Isaac, of course, because he was huge. But this was different because I was a part of what was going on, not just part of the support system. So that was our first visual. But I don't think we really got it at first. We didn't really understand how big we were. And everything was happening so quickly, and we were working so much. It was hard to slow down and take it all in. I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years before we really got a chance to get the scope of what we were doing.
So the TV show helped exasperate everyone knowing who you are and connecting with you.
Oh, absolutely. I remember people would come and walk by me and go, hi, Telma. And I would get totally insulted because I don't know you. You know how we are in Detroit. I don't know you. I had to tone that down, of course, because I figured that they did know me. But it was jarring, to have people feel like they knew you and you don't know them. They're strangers to you, but to you, they've invited you into their home every week. So you're family. They have a totally proprietary kind of a relationship with you that you're not haven't quite caught up with. It took me a while to get used to that and to understand that was going to be a part of my life from now on.
I imagine the TV show then helped blow up record sales and the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We would never have had those kinds of crowds had it not been for the TV show. We were doing well because Tie Yellow Ribbon was huge, but the TV show, being able to see who it is that you're singing along with actually has a lot of power. So, it absolutely made the difference.
So this is your first, the Tony, Orlando, and Dawn show is your first TV show.
Yeah, that was when I found out that they would pay you to be funny, because I spent my whole life trying to be funny. And my grandmother kept telling me, child, this is serious business. Ain't nobody going to pay you to be silly. You got to stop that. You got to get serious about it. Life is a serious business. So, I couldn't wait to run home with that first check from being silly. And of course, then she changed the tone. Went from she's so silly to, she's just like, she got that humor for me. She's just like me. It's like, lady, stop it. But yeah, that was my life.
The 70s variety show era is one of the greatest eras ever.
Right? It was fun. It was fun. And it was fun because, like you said, and Dinah Shore was doing it, Tony Orlando and Dawn and Cher and Sonny and Cher and then Cher again. And, Carol Burnett, which was like, she was idol, she and Diane Carroll. So our show was filmed where her show was filmed. So that was, I was with the big guns. Loved it.
Didn't you go on the Carol Burnett show? Were they spoofing you guys?
Yeah, they had a spoof call. I think it was Tony, Tallahassee, and Dusk. And Carol played me, and Vicki Lawrence played Joyce, and Harvey Korman played a very tall Tony Orlando, plus the heels. And it was hysterical. And at the end of it, we came up behind him and tapped him on the shoulder and told him to get out. Yeah. So that was a thrill for me because, of course, Carol Burnett was she just meant a lot to me, still does, because she was one of the first people to just acknowledge me as if that was where I was supposed to be. On one of my first days coming to CBS for the show, I got off the elevator, which is one of the slowest elevators in God's creation. It's still there. But I got off the elevator, and when I looked up, I saw her at the end of the hallway walking toward me and just mentally freaked out. I was just practicing how I was going to say, "Hi, Miss Carol Burnett. Hi, Miss Burnett. Hi, Miss Carol. Hi." And as I was doing all this in my head, she just walked by and said, "Hi, Telma," and just kept going like she saw me every day. I never forgot that. She has no idea, unless she's heard me say this because I've said it more than once, how that made me feel, that she acknowledged me. It was just insane. I always said I want to make somebody else feel the way she made me feel. Because I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that feeling.
I love that. Isn't that amazing? She just said hi and remembered your name. And
yeah, just like she saw, and she hadn't seen me probably in months by that time. We were just starting out our show. When I met her initially, we weren't even a part of CBS. We were doing one of their luncheons, and Tony told her that I loved her, and she was just so sweet to me, but that she would remember me months later. And just be so casual about it just was everything. It was everything.
That is awesome. The show, did you imagine there was tons of guest stars that would come in? And
oh my gosh, yeah.
Did you have any particular favorites that you enjoyed acting with or being funny with?
God, there were so many. Sid Caesar, who was hysterical. God, I can't offhand. That's been a couple of years ago. We had so many big stars. I was probably more excited about seeing like Neil Sedaka or, the singers on the show than the actors more so, unless it was somebody like Vincent Price or somebody like that, because we did have Betty White was hysterical. Ted Knight was hysterical. Oh my head. Ruth. Oh my God. Carol she was O'Connor. Nuts. She was insane. Yeah. She was really funny. She was really funny. And everyone was just so nice to us. It was just Jim Neighbors now took us home with him. And got us in trouble because he was the guest star on the show that week. And he decided that Joyce and I needed a good meal. So he invited us to lunch. Well, lunch he took us home to his mom and she cooked. And then we ate and we came back. And of course, everybody was mad because we had been gone for like 3 hours. He took all the blame. He said, "It's my fault. I did it. They couldn't come back without me." And so he made it okay, but that was one of the funnier things that happened, that we actually missed our own work trying to socialize with Jim Neighbors.
Well, that you can't pass that up,
Yeah, Tony was jealous, of course. He wasn't really mad. He was just jealous that nobody invited him.
He wanted to hang out with you. I
don't blame him. It was a good time and some good food. They were Southern, so there was some serious cookery going on at that house. House. What am I saying? House. Mansion. I'm sorry. What am I thinking?
Oh, man. So, all right. So it sounds like this was a blast. You were having
it was fun. Yeah.
Hilarious time. And
it was fun because we were doing sketches and it was just so many different things. And again, I was discovering that my humor was worth something and that I had fun doing it. And they had fun writing for me. I really had a lot of support on the show when it came to that.
Yeah, some people must have noticed because quite a career after that,
Yeah.
which we'll get into in 1 second. But I want to go backwards because you mentioned Isaac Hayes a few times. So I know you're on the Shaft theme song.
Yeah.
And Shut Your Mouth. And
which Tony loved to talk about.
So with touring with him was just incredible.
Oh, it was amazing. That was the first time I came to California, was with Isaac Hayes. We worked at the Forum, which, huge. We actually did photography for Shaft with Gordon Parks while we were here. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, some of the people we worked with, Elton John, and just I don't even know how we got on some of these gigs, but yeah, the first time I came to California was with Isaac Hayes.
Awesome. Okay, so all right, so you must have got people's attention because you're just hilarious on the Tony, Orlando, and Dawn variety show. So now you're heading to TV. But did you guys before you start doing TV, were you still doing Tony, Orlando, and Dawn, or did you had you broken up by now, or like what was?
Oh no, we broke up. We broke up before I started. Actually, even got signed to start doing television. We had broken up, but Freddie Silverman, who was president of ABC when we were there, was the person that reached out to me after the group broke up, because I didn't know what I was going to do. Really, we were just it was just such a crazy time because we had been booked a year and a half in advance. And then all of a sudden it was over so abruptly and in such a strange way that, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was shocked to get a call from Freddie, but he had always encouraged me. He had always said that the camera loved me and that the camera worked for me and all of that. Of course, I didn't really understand what all that meant at that time, but I understood when he called. I did understand that. And so I ended up getting a 4-year development deal with ABC through Freddie Silverman. And that's how my TV career started.
Incredible. Let me put one bookend on Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. I did watch, it was March of 2024. So about a little over a year and a half ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, was that like a final? He was doing a final concert and you guys came out?
Oh, you mean his retirement hoo-ha? Yeah, he retired, and 2 months later, we were back on stage in New York at he roped us into doing something. I said, "You're supposed to be retired. Don't you know what that means?" And obviously, he didn't, because, like I said, it may have been 3 months, but he retired, and then he unretired for a night, and we unretired with him. So
too funny.
Yeah.
All right, so now you're on to becoming a famous TV star. You conquered the world of music. And now we're going to conquer the world of TV. All right. So you had a development deal. I know you had a couple of things before Bosom Buddies, which is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yes, mine too, actually. Yeah, I had done, I did projects for them. I did a pilot with Marie Osmond. I was doing Love Boat and Fantasy Eye, all the ABC shows that they had. I was doing those sorts of things. I got to work with Eileen Brennan on a show called A New Kind of Family. It was with Eileen and Rob Lowe. Janet Jackson played my daughter. Who else was on it? Lori Hindler.
Bob Isles wrote that, right?
Mm-hmm. Lori Hindler was on it, who I ended up working on Gimme a Break with. She played Eileen's daughter on A New Kind of Family. And that's where I met Bob Boyette and Tom Miller. And that's how Bosom Buddies happened. They were friends with the ladies that did the show, and they came over to see it, and they liked me.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, you got to work young Rob Lowe, Eileen Brennan.
Yeah. It was fun. And Scully Mitchell, I think he was on it too. I'm trying to remember. I think he was on it too. Not often, but he was in the cast.
And then I'll mention the new Odd Couple. That was brief. That was a Gary Marshall show.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you did the original Odd Couple too. This is the reboot with Ron Glass and
Damon Wilson.
Wilson, who I'll mention because you were in a Love Boat with him.
Yeah, I wasn't not with Damon, was I?
Oh, was it? Oh, maybe I thought.
I don't think I did. I don't remember doing it with him.
Oh no, did I?
I'm sorry. I know I did it with Reggie Jackson.
Jimmy Walker.
And I'm trying to think who else, because I did 3, I think. I can't remember.
Well,
I'm old. It's so far back. I have to check my own IMDb to figure it out.
Well, I thought it was Jimmy Walker, Demond Wilson, and you.
Did
And
I do Demond Wilson? I just don't remember.
he was always
Maybe
with
you're.
his shirt open, and he was all like a ladies' man. He was not.
I don't remember doing it with him. Maybe
Well,
I've lost some brain cells. That is
how was Love Boat
entirely
in general?
possible.
How was Love Boat in general? That's like a classic that everyone.
It was fun. It was fun. Everybody was so great on the show, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I thought, of course, I was going to get on an actual boat. First time I did it. I was so literal at that time. But no, the cast was great, and it was always fun to do. It was always a fun show to do because everybody was so welcoming, and you had all these different guest stars on. I remember I met Virginia Capers on it. It was just a fun time. It was a fun time.
I remember it's like learning like Santa Claus isn't real. Spoiler, sorry. It's like there's no boat unless you go
There's
to
no
like
real
Japan.
boat.
Unless you go to Japan or something.
Yeah, no, there was no real boat. There was just a boat-looking set.
Oh man. Okay, so Bosom Buddies. All right, so who was on that? Oh yeah, Tom Hanks.
Yeah, a little known actor. You might remember him. Tom Hanks, Peter Scolari, Holland Taylor. Nobody knows who she is though. Donna Dixon, Wendy Jo Sperber. Just a great cast. Again, great cast of people, and we had so much fun. And we were just such idiots at the time. I mean, it was all like our first real sitcom. So we were the wild bunch in a way. I mean, I can think of a couple of directors that actually, I think we brought them to tears just trying to wrangle us on stage. We were pretty crazy. And we were just so happy and having so much fun. And we had jobs, it was just the best.
What do you think it is about Bosom Buddies? I mean, it was only like 37 episodes, just maybe a couple seasons. It's so in the world of all the shows that exist, it's not, and there's been famous people in shows like Tom Hanks where like they get
but nobody was famous in that show at that point. It was just a funny show. The real kicker is that Tom was not the original lead. Peter, there was another guy, and I can never remember the guy. That's so sad. But one day I remember we came to work and that guy's chair was empty. And we were all like, uh-oh, what does this mean? And then Tom came in, and Tom took what they had written, and it was almost like it had been rewritten because the first gentleman was self-conscious as Buffy. Was he Buffy or Hildegard? Buffy. He was self-conscious when he would put on the dress and the whole thing. Tom had no shame. Tom came in, he put on the heels, he was falling in and out of the shoes. He was sitting down in the dress with his legs wide open, then pulled the dress up. And, I mean, he was just hilarious. He just took the same script we had been doing all week and just took it to another level. And like I said, after that, it was on. It was just on. We were just, it was so much fun.
The chemistry, that whole cast is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we were just fearless because we were all goofy. We had, none of us had ever really had a show. So we were just, like I said, the wild bunch. We had a lot of fun, too much fun, some directors would say, I'm sure.
And Holland Taylor is amazing in that she always looks older, but she always looks exactly the same.
Exactly. Even now. It's crazy.
Now. Yeah.
We were now she was the one cast member that was a little intimidating. The way she is, and she carried herself and from theater and all of that. And it wasn't that other people didn't have backgrounds in acting more so than me. I mean, I lucked out. She was kind of formidable at that time. And then we found out she was crazier than all of us put together. So that was a wonderful time.
And Peter Scolari was a juggler. Did he juggle?
Did he juggle? He taught Tom how to juggle. I mean, they would go back and forth with it. He would juggle while riding a unicycle. I mean, he basically should have just joined a circus, but he wanted to act. Go figure.
Then Give Me a Break. Another amazing. I mean, just to go from one huge thing to another. And this is like, again, like it's funny, like you could stop at any point. You go, oh, this is a career that anyone would have been happy with. And we're just at the beginning. We're just at the beginning. Yeah. You came on to Give Me a Break, I think a few seasons in, and then you were there for
season 4. I came on, was supposed to be I think I had a 3-story arc or something like that. When we started the scene and my scene came up and they opened the door, the audience reacted and they liked that because I guess coming from Bosom Buddies, so the audience reaction was bigger than anyone expected. I didn't know it, but at that point they had decided, maybe we need to keep her around a little bit. But Nell knew. I mean, Nell came over to me after the show. She said, well, welcome to the show, because I know they're gonna bring you back because the audience loved you. She was so gracious, but she was sweet. I mean, even that she came up and did that, it tickled me because she was kind of annoyed, but we were able to really work it and have a great workable relationship. She was not the easiest person, but I was one of the few people that was not intimidated by her gruffness, because she could go there, and I just go back because I'm from Detroit, girl. You don't know who you're messing with. So we ended up having a great rapport. I mean, she taught me so much of my work ethic just because I could not hang on to a script and work with her because she was so physical. So I would have to just try to get the gist of it, each scene, and just go for it. And it really helped me. It made me much lighter on my feet when it came to memorizing stuff and trying stuff, because she demanded that.
You never know where the lessons are going to come from.
Never know. You never know. I like to think I taught her a couple too.
Well, she sings too, right? So, I mean.
Oh my God, does she? I mean, she's straight off of Broadway. Right. That girl, I mean, for a woman of her size, she could dance better than anybody I know, sing louder and better than most people. She just had that. She had whatever that it factor is. She had it.
She was amazing. I was Googling clips, and so I found a funny one with Sammy Davis Jr., the three of you.
Oh my God, yes. Mr. Junior, as I used to call him. The first time I worked with him was on Fantasy Island. He was playing Bojangles, and I was on that episode. So that was the first time I met him. This was my second or third time having met him. I also Tony Orlando and Dawn did his show, so I had a little bit of a relationship with him when he came on the show, which was fun. I have a picture of it in my house from it, actually, with him trying to chew the ring off my finger.
That's amazing. All right, so you have Give Me a Break, and then what do we got next?
I don't know.
What's next?
You tell me.
I don't know. we could jump into Family Matters. It's another Aunt Rachel.
Aunt Rachel.
Okay, so now you're on like what becomes one of the biggest, longest running
legacy shows. Yeah. We were the third. Family Matters was, I think, the third longest running sitcom with a Black cast. I think we were after, what were the other shows? Oh, House of Pain and The Jeffersons ran longer. But Family Matters is right up there.
That's quite impressive. Fred Fox Jr.?
He was one of the, him? Oh, okay.
I had him on my show. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was
Get out of here. Did you?
Fred Fox Jr.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Wow. That's crazy.
He's had some greatest hits too, like Family Matters, Happy Days,
a couple of shows. He's done a couple of things. We'll give him a little credit.
A couple of things.
Yeah, pretty amazing. We had some great writers and producers on our show.
Your Family Matters, it's huge and it's going, and it kind of has it similar to Fred Fox Jr. and they have the other show he was on, Happy Days. You had something very similar where they had the Fonz kind of take over. You guys had
with Jaleel.
Yeah, with Steve,
Urkel.
like where you just have one character become like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Is it interesting, like being part of a show and it shifts? Is it like?
Well, I wasn't the lead, so it didn't shift as much for me, but but it took some adjustment because the show was one way, before he came on, and then the focus did change. But audiences tend to pick who they think is the star or who their attention is on. And he just brought another element. One of the great things, and we'll get into this, of course, because we want to talk about the Welcome to the Family podcast with iHeartRadio, so iHeartMedia. I found that when a character grabs the audience, you just kind of have to go with it. But to say that it wasn't a jolt to the adults system to no longer be the focus, it would not be untrue. I mean, we had to make adjustments. Like I said, it wasn't as hard for me because I wasn't the lead, so to speak. But it did affect everyone. But it also made the show bigger than it would have been on its own. Who knows,
Yeah, you never know. Shows kind of take on. And Reginald was coming off of Die Hard, right?
Die Hard, and Jo Marie was coming out of Perfect Strangers because it really was a spinoff for her. That's why I say I'm sure it was harder initially on them than it was on me, but I was affected by it. I think we all were.
People still come up to you to this day. Did I do that?
They do that. But they still call me Aunt Rachel. I mean, I have no name. I am just Aunt Rachel. but I love that. I mean, what a wonderful legacy to have that. God, how long has it been? 40 years? Of course, I was a mere child when I started. Uh, but to have people still relating to that show, to have that show still on the air after 35 plus years is insane. But it's on somewhere, I think, every day, all day. I mean, I've never known a time when it wasn't on the air, which is pretty amazing.
When you have like just a classic show that can just stand the test of time, it just it gets legs, and it has so many episodes. They probably love replaying it and stuff. And
I mean, I certainly have enjoyed rewatching the show myself. Our podcast is a rewatch podcast. And for those that don't know, we view a show a week and we then go back and rehash that show. We talk about what happened, what we remember, what was happening backstage. Sometimes we have on writers or producers or cast members or fans. I mean, it's been really fun because going back to watch it now, I can really watch it as an audience as opposed to critiquing everything I was doing in real time, which is what I would normally do. I'm really getting to watch the show as an audience, and I'm enjoying how good the show was.
Did you watch it in the first run? And that's not a lot of times people don't, you know what I mean? Because
I did. I watched it probably religiously the first year and mostly religiously the second year, but you kind of fall off, you kind of fall off. Like I said, now going back, I almost disassociate myself with Rachel. I mean, I can watch it as an audience and kind of get the feel that the audience got when they saw it. And it was a relevant show at that time. It was, 4 generations living under one roof, kids coming home, having problems, working things out. I love that about the show. I love that there was a beginning, a middle, and an end on those shows. And they usually, maybe not the most profound lesson in the world, but there were always some tidbits, especially usually coming from Jo Marie, of course, from Harriet, because she was the only one that was sane on the show. There was always something, there was a nugget in there somewhere in those shows. And I'm enjoying finding those nuggets now.
The rewatch podcasts are so fun because it's just great to hear like the inside stuff, and
it is
just like having you like the memories that get triggered that you probably wouldn't have normally, even remembered. Oh my God, was it that show that we did that?
Right. I mean, I see stuff on the show now and I'm going, wait a minute, I don't remember. Did we do that? And it's funny because, Kelly and I have different memories. There's stuff that she remembers that I don't remember and stuff I remember that she doesn't remember. But it's just so much fun to relive this way. No pressure. Don't have to learn the lines. It's just been really fun for us.
And that's weekly?
That is weekly. You can hear us every Wednesday on iHeartMedia or wherever you get your podcasts. Welcome to the family with Kelly and Telma. And we're so excited. We love each other anyway. I mean, I feel like I raised Kelly. What am I saying? I did help raise Kelly. She spent many, many, many weekends at my house because they lived in Maryland. And we have stayed close all this time. And it's so funny because I look at her now and she's a mom and her kids are older than she was when I met her. Life is just, life be lifing, it's so bizarre sometimes. So to have known her that long, to know her family, this has just been a wonderful way for us to stay in touch even more often than we normally do since it's weekly, but also to just give thanks for those, it's just such a blessing to all these years later that we would have this opportunity to do something like this. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure it was something I wanted to do because it sounded like, man, I got to be thinking and stuff. I don't like to think. I want the words written down. I can just learn them and go on. But it's turned out to be so much fun. And so, I mean, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but come on, listen to the show. I think even people who may not be fans of the show will enjoy the show because there's so much relevance. And let's face it, with times being as they are these days, we need that nostalgia. We need that, to remember those warm moments and to have that laughter and to be able to just forget about everything else that's going on for that half hour. In speaking, like I said, one of the things that I was really touched by that someone said was that they chose to bring us into their home every week. And they didn't always have that choice with their relatives. I had never thought about it because there's an action that goes with watching a show that you love. You can't just say, oh, I love that show and it just pops on. You've actually got to do something to get it into your house. And I had never thought about it that way, that I was being invited into someone's home every week because they really, really wanted to see us. I mean, I remember doing a tour with Family Matters for the Arthritis Foundation, and it required hitting a lot of the news shows and health shows across the country. And I was just surprised at how many, really square looking folk, with the wingtip shoes that were just fans of the show, that told us stories about having to rush home after, they finished on air to get there before 8 because it was like a thing. It became, TGIF Fridays? Right. People would gather. It became something that families did together, like eating dinner, which is, what a big compliment.
And the podcast, at least you have a job for 215 weeks.
Well, the 215 applied to the show. That was 215 episodes. We're crossing our fingers for 215. That'll be great. We're enjoying this so much. And, it premiered November 5th. So getting a chance to now get the feedback from the show and see how people are liking it. And I hope they're enjoying it as much as we're enjoying putting it up for them, because we are enjoying it.
Well, it's a delight. So there's nothing to not love. And you guys are great hosts. So there you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone go search Welcome to the Family with Telma and Kelly. Then you're probably on any podcast app.
Yeah. To find it, search Welcome to the Family with Telma and Kelly on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you want to call or write in, you can go to our website at www.familymatterspod.com. We would love to hear from you. You can even ask us for advice. I wouldn't advise it because you don't know what you might end up with, but you're welcome to try. And we just love to hear from everyone.
You just have to say, not a therapist. And then
not a therapist. Right. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer. So during the Family Matter years, you got your own show, Getting By with Cindy Williams.
Yes. Now, if you want to talk about, probably just because she's one of my favorite people in the world, that was such a joy for me working with her. She was I met her and Penny when we were doing, was they doing Tony, Orlando, and Don? I think so. They were doing, Dinah Shore or something. And I got a chance to meet them and always loved them, always loved their humor and all of that. But to get the chance to work with Cindy was just amazing. Amazing. I wish that show had gone on longer. But I treasure those 2 years because it solidified a friendship that I never even considered having. She was just so real and so solid and so down to earth and so much fun to work with. That girl had no shame, and she got me to the point where we would do anything for comedy. And I love that about her. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience and a great loss.
Great loss. I did not have her on the podcast because she passed away, but I was trying, but I did meet her once at a Comic-Con and I got her autograph. You talk about remembering something like you did with Carol Burnett. The thing I remember about her specifically, and I've met a lot of people, I don't remember a lot of things, but is that she kind of just gave me a hug, like a hug, like a little mini side hug, like when we were taking the picture.
She was a sweetheart.
Yeah, she was amazing. Battle of the Network Stars is a funny clip of you.
Oh my gosh. You're just going to go way. You just digging now. You're just digging. That was fun though. I love that stuff. Circus of the Stars. I loved learning how to walk on a high wire, which was insane. Never. I still have a fear of heights. I don't know how I did it, but I ended up having to do it again on Family Matters because somebody overheard us laughing about the fact that I had the nerve to learn how to walk on a high wire. And they were like, oh, that's a good storyline. And so I ended up having to get my trainer from Circus of the Stars to come out and work with me so that I could walk across a wire to rescue Steve off the ledge of a house. That was fun because I hadn't done it in a couple of years and I had lost all my skill, I felt like. But I learned not to talk to around the writers because they have big ears.
That's how Henry Winkler and the Fonz ended up jumping the shark because somebody told him that he had knew how to water ski. Yeah. I think.
Oh my gosh. Said, you got to be careful.
Water ski.
Yeah, you got to be careful. The funny thing is when they saw how high the wire was, that's when they panicked because we weren't able to, when I was doing Circus of the Stars in training, we had an air mattress underneath me, so if I did happen to fall off, take a hitter, I would at least fall on something soft. But this was flat floor and straight up in the air and without a pole. A little nerve-wracking, to say the least. I mean, I remember when I put my first foot out to try to get my first foot balance, I heard everybody go, and then it was like nothing ever happened until I got to the other side. It was like everybody panicked at that point.
I mean, again, like half and half. Are we there yet? Like series after series.
Yeah.
If you want me to be a little more recent, Dead to Me, great series.
Oh, I love that show. I love Chris. I just love everybody. That was so much fun. I remember that script pilot, reading it for the audition. The script was so good that I actually screamed at the end of it and dropped the script. And so when I went into audition, because you just didn't read scripts that were so juicy and so, a page turner. And I was talking to Liz Feldman, who I did not realize was the executive producer, but I was telling her when I read the script and my reaction and all of that, I was doing press in New York for a movie that I had done. And I got a call from my agent telling me what time to be at the table read. This was like maybe 2 months later. And I'm like, what is he talking? What table read? I'm in New York, and they said for Dead to Me. And I said, Dead to Me? What is that? Because you do these auditions, I don't care how good they are, you forget. And he said the thing with Christina Applegate. And I was like, what? I was so excited. I could not believe that they had forgot to tell me that I got the part. My agents actually forgot to tell me that I had gotten the car. They were just calling me to tell me where to be and what time. So that was, I love that show. I love that show. It was so well written. So well written.
Another show you were on, not to go back a little bit, I had Hal Sparks on the show a couple of times. So I know you were on Lab Rats. You had a few
Oh my
episodes.
Gosh. Yeah. I was that Granny somebody or another? I can't even remember.
Grandma Rose.
Grandma Rose. Yeah. That was fun. That was fun because Grandma Rose was nuts. In fact, I think that's why I get cast a lot. I think people know I'm crazy. She was a fun grandma though. Yeah. That was a fun show to do. I
mean, so many amazing things. I only want to mention Blending Christmas because slowly I'm having every cast member who's been in that movie on my podcast. So I just wanted to mention it. So,
my gosh, that was fun too. Yeah, I love Christmas movies. I didn't get to do one this year and I'm very upset about it. I love doing Christmas movies.
Yeah, you have a lot of Christmas. You have some good number of voiceovers I saw on your
IMDb. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're incredible.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm blessed. I don't know why, but I'm certainly glad of it. I have enjoyed and still enjoy my career so much. It's not brain surgery, but it is a lot of fun. And it pays well sometimes. Sometimes, not all the time. But sometimes it doesn't even matter. It's so much fun. I have done those jobs where my agents were like, why do you want to do this job? And I said, it can't always be about the money. There are some things that you just feel like you want to do, you need to do.
Well, you're amazing. And I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me. This was so great to be with such a legend. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
In my own mind, of course. I am so happy to have had this time. I'm so happy to be talking to somebody from Michigan. I'm very, very much about my home state. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you for not asking about every show because I thought you were going to go there for a minute.
But just it depends.
I've so enjoyed it. I've so enjoyed you, and I do thank you for allowing us to talk and to talk about our podcast because that's the thing right now is our Welcome to the Family podcast. Welcome to the Family with Telma and Kelly, and I hope the audience will have as much enjoyment listening to it as we are while we're doing it.
I have no doubts they will. Obviously, big fan of podcasts. Next time you're in Michigan, the red pop's on me. And
we'll okay. Don't forget you said it because I will hold you to it. Detroiters don't forget stuff like that. Free stuff, we don't forget it.
I won't. I'll have some better made potato chips.
Okay. And have the Vernors on the side just in case.
With vanilla
and some Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread is good.
Of course, Wonder Bread, yeah. Which is a casino now, by the way. And
shut up, is it?
Well, the original Wonder Bread is now like the Motor City Casino.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know
when you drive by, you can see it on the side, which is funny because the bread company became a casino. Yeah.
That's gambling.
Yeah, gambling. Right. And So yeah, we'll get the Vernors, and I'll get vanilla ice cream, and we'll make the
do a whole thing. We'll make it a thing.
We'll make it a thing. We'll play only Motown songs that you're on.
Right. They'll just be on a loop.
Just on a loop.
Because there weren't that many of them, but we'll manage.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.